Hello, it's the Cryo Lady. It's my second video. I do two videos, well, two videos like this each day. Apart from on my birthday, I did one because it's going out. And I wanted to hurry up. But, yeah, so I'm in all my sea salt clothes today. This dress I got from Sea Salt's eBay outlet. I've also got some, can't see them there, I've got some Sea Salt socks as well. I'm going to put this on, and I'm going to put it on to here we go. No, I don't want Skin Sustain, and I don't want Under Eye Revive. I don't want that one. There you go. I want blemish. I want better aging, because I need to age better. I mean, gosh, I'm 59. It just seems so weird, doesn't it? Do you ever get to that point in your life and you think, how on earth did I get here? It only seems like yesterday that I was in my 20s. I might even talk about that actually now. There we go. Woo. So I was born in 1966, okay. So the 80s, I guess, were my time. Now I know that the 80s are really sort of popular today. Itchy nose. Okay. But honestly, I was doing my nurse training in the 20s. When I was in my 20s, and I was doing my nurse training. So I started my nurse training in 1984. I was 18 years old. And I moved into a nurse's home. So at that point, I used to, and I lived, I did my nurse training at a place called Vale Hospital in Taunton in Somerset. Now, do you know what? I keep saying I'm going to do this, so maybe I will just do this now. Nurse training. So when I started my nurse training, we were paid. We were paid to do it, and it didn't cost us a bean. It didn't cost us any money at all to do our nurse training. We had no bursaries. We had no... we didn't have any maintenance loans to pay back. We didn't have any tuition fees to pay back. And in fact, we were paid. We were paid to train. Now, it's my understanding, right? Now, I know that I trained as a registered nurse. I trained as a registered psychiatric nurse. So that's my qualification, RMN, registered. Do you know what? It stood for registered mental nurse, right? I think they've put mental health in it now. But anyway, so I was effectively what they call a state registered nurse, a registered nurse. 3 years of training, okay? And I was paid. I lived in a nurse's home, so I had guaranteed accommodation on site. So where I worked, on site. And during my training, I did a secondment. We had to do a secondment for 3 months, so 12 weeks, to a general hospital, an adult physical health. And I went to a place called Musgrove Park Hospital. I worked on Ward 10, and the charge nurse was called Mr. Wesney, Brian Wesney. I did, like I said, that was a male medical ward as well. So, and I enjoyed my time there. I could have stayed in the nurse's home at Musgrove Park Hospital if I'd have wanted to, but at that point I had this little moped, like little 50cc moped. Now, and I used to get to and from the hospital that way. I used to drive back to the nurse's home at Vale Hospital, because obviously that's on what stuff was, so I just thought better about that. But yeah, guaranteed accommodation that was didn't cost very much at all, and we didn't have to pay for washing machines or tumble dryers either. That was all included, all your electricity, everything, okay? You just had to buy all your food, that was it, and you were paid. So what we do is when I first started my nurse training, we had 4 weeks in the School of Nursing, because each hospital had their own School of Nursing on site. And we had 4 weeks doing that. And then after that, I went on to an elderly care ward called Bronte Ward, and it was female elderly care. Once I'd done 3 months on that, then I went back to the School of Nursing, and we did 2 weeks. We had 2 weeks tuition in the School of Nursing about whatever. And then we would move on to our next ward. But generally speaking, at that we'd probably get a holiday. We used to get very, very generous holidays as well. And when you were, pretty much, I think... But the thing is when you worked on a ward, you were counted as a member of staff. So you worked just as hard as the next person, but you were paid for it. Now, it's my understanding, obviously, that when you when you do your nurse training nowadays, it's university based, okay? University based training, nothing wrong with that. It's all very good. But here's the thing, right? You guys that are doing your nurse training, so you have to pay for your tuition. And not only that, you have to go and work on wards, you have to do placements on wards, and you have to work as hard as the next person. And how much money do you get for that? Nothing at all. There's something very, very wrong. How can governments do sort of like a 360-degree about turn and go from actually paying people to do, because you're working, they're not paying you anything. It's like slave labour. It is slave labour. And not only that, they make you have to pay them back. How absolutely ridiculous. I mean, that's just taking the mick. And then they wonder why there's so many vacancies. I don't know. Do you know what? I think there's maybe about 100,000 vacancies in the National Health Service. They have a chronic shortage of nurses, coming in to do their training. And these people, right, most of the people that make these decisions, they're very, very well off. In government, they're very, very well off. They have absolutely no idea about what it's like, about real life. And they just don't have a clue. Because when you're a student, you're not rich, right? I've had, at the moment, I have twins going through university, right? And it's been a fight. Sending one person to uni is it's expensive, but actually times that by 2 and it's no fun, right? Now, they obviously have to pay back all their tuition fees and everything else. Of course they do. But you know what? I can remember, if I'd have been able to go to university, my parents wouldn't let me go to university, right? But if I had, I wouldn't have had to pay back anything. I would have got, all my tuition fees would have been paid. They didn't even think about that then. So this is the 80s. All my tuition fees would have been paid, and I would have got what they call a grant from the government. And I wouldn't have had to pay that back either. And here's the thing though, this is what doesn't make any sense to me either. If you live in Scotland, it's free. University for you is free. If you live in, I need to get out of this mastery. If you live in Wales, the same applies. It's free. Now, you probably have to pay back your maintenance loans, but you don't have to pay back. I mean, do you know what? The University of Bristol and Bath, they're like over £9,000. £9,000 for tuition fees each year. It's nuts. Are you doing your nurse training? What do you think of the NHS in the UK? I'd like to know, did you train as a nurse in the 80s as well? What was your experience of it? Are you training as a nurse right now? Are you at university? and you know, if there's anything you want to ask me, because I'll do my best to answer it. I know a lot about a lot of things. And I also used to be a union rep for the Royal College of Nursing as well. So yeah, I know quite a bit of stuff, and I'm also pretty sensible. But you know, if you like and subscribe, that will help me to make more content, and I will always respond to comments. And thank you very much. Have a lovely day.